Hey everybody, welcome back to the VMP Performance YouTube channel. I'm Justin, this is Chucky, and today we are going to be doing a tall boy intake manifold shootout. In our last intake manifold shootout, we ran the truck intake, the stock intake, the 18 intake manifold, and the Cobra Jet intake. Everybody was kind of disappointed that we did not run the Boss 302 intake. So we're gonna run it on the dyno today. We're also gonna run the Holley Sniper intake manifold, and we're gonna run the Cobra Jet manifold again for good measure. We're gonna get to see what these tall boy style intake manifolds do. Are they really worth any power over the 2018 intake manifold? How do they compare to the Cobra Jet manifold? All those questions are gonna be answered here in a little bit on the dyno. We've got what I'm gonna dub the sewing machine intake manifold under the hood. I got all my dyno software going and I'm about to make a dyno pull. We're gonna see what this notorious aluminum intake manifold makes on Chucky. We've got the sewing machine intake manifold on there, which is the Holley Sniper, and it made 390 rear wheel horsepower and 344 rear wheel torque. We've got about 28 degrees of timing in the car, and the air fuel is right around 0.85 lambda at watt, so that's going to be a very consistent test. We're going to get the Boss 302 intake manifold swapped on and see how it does. I know that's the one that everybody wanted to see in the last test, and we didn't do just because we were comparing up against the Cobra Jet. Well, now we're going back and doing it. Hopefully that makes everybody happy. I'm gonna get it swapped on. I'm really excited to see how it's going to do on Chucky. I'm going to make a poll, check out my tune data, and see what it does. Look at the data log, make sure the tune was doing everything it needed to. Yeah, timing's good, air fuel's good. The dyno tells the truth. So the Boss 302 intake manifold made 390 rear wheel horsepower, 346 rear wheel torque. Almost peak for peak, it was pretty much exactly the same as the Holley. However, when we show you the dyno graphs, you're going to see that the Boss 302 consistently made more torque in the 3,000 to 4,500 range and a little more torque at 5,500. So it's just got a better area under the curve, which is always a good thing with intake manifolds. You know, I'm not surprised. You can see that the Holley intake is a really cool looking fabricated sheet metal intake manifold, but the Boss 302 is formed from plastic, and you're just able to get a lot smoother turns and better radiuses and stuff like that than you are with a fabricated piece. Certainly at high boost levels, Holley's got a heavy duty version of the intake manifold that has a thicker wall and is designed for like 30-40 pounds of boost. There's definitely a need for that on turbo cars that are running a lot of boost, but once again, naturally aspirated. I think the Boss intake manifold versus the Holley is hard to beat. Now, because we believe in same-day testing, we're going to swap back on the Cobra Jet intake manifold and see what it does. And possibly, if we have time, we may even swap on the 18 GT intake manifold just as our good all-around reference point. So next, we're going to swap on the Cobra Jet intake manifold. We're going to see how it does, and then we're going to decide if we need to swap the 18 intake manifold on too. Intake manifold is swapped on, data logger's going. I'm going to run it and see what it does. Alright, the results of the Cobra Jet intake manifold are in. It made 408 rear wheel horsepower and 358 rear wheel torque. We actually saw 410 on the Part 1 intake manifold shootout, but that's a pretty consistent comparison considering that we're on different days and different conditions. The most important thing is that the Cobra Jet manifold made more power than both the Boss 302 and the Sniper intake manifold from 4,500 RPM on up. There is a good 16 to 18 horsepower throughout the entire curve. We'll overlay the graphs on the screen and show everybody, but that is pretty amazing. I'm just gonna go ahead and say, out of these three tall boy style intake manifolds, the Cobra Jet is definitely the king. It's also the most expensive and the most complicated swap, which we talk about quite a bit in the Part 1 intake manifold shootout. So if you want to click the link below and check out that video, you can see what the results of the more factory style intake manifolds were. I think this was a great comparison of tall boy intake manifolds. We got to see that the Boss 302 was pretty much the same as the Holley Sniper, with just a little bit more area under the curve in some places. We got to see that the Cobra Jet intake manifold is king. What should we do next? I think we've tested almost all of the intake manifolds on Chucky. The one thing we haven't done is a ported 18 style intake. And at this point, there's ported intake manifolds from everybody. Our first video kind of set the world on fire with that, the video we did last year on Track Attack. So there's hand ported intakes. We still stand by our CNC ported intakes. Maybe you'd like to see a comparison between the two, and we'd throw the Cobra Jet in there for good measure. Let us know in the comments if that's what you want to see for Part 3 of the Chucky Intake Manifold Shootout series. For now, make sure you like, subscribe, and share. See you guys next time.